Yo, everybody's piling in. Cool. Back from Dallas. I'm just kind of working on trying to be a better guitar player, as we always do. Maybe we play a tune here. Check the levels. Little jam in there. Cool. Just having some fun over there. The green, dude, check out these kicks. Look at these things. Pretty good, huh? Look at these things. I got them green Crocs. I didn't think I'd ever get on the Croc train. I didn't think it was for me. But let me tell you what. It's a good house shoe. I like the Croc for the house shoe. What I don't like is stepping on a pedal with just bare feet or with socks. Right? So if I'm playing and I just got my socks on, I don't like the way the pedal feels when I step on it. It's not pleasing to me. I don't like that. Okay, I'm getting some emails here. Man, I had some good times down in Dallas, and it was fun. We had a good time. Randy Heston was down there, and Joe Wyatt, all the crowd. The Woodshed crew was down there. Saw some really great, cool guitars. It was great to meet you, Bobby. Yeah. Let's talk about some improvisational tactics today. And things that I'm working on. Thank you for the kind words, Robert, on the tone. This is just the SL68 and my pedal board. I run the SL68 loud and clean. No dirt from the amp. As far as the Aspects patches, yes, they are available on Patreon. Patreon has just released a new update that allows me to do like playlists, you know? So I'm going to be able to take all my Axe Effects patches and put them in a cultivated list of things, as well as go through and do various topics around it. And, you know, improvising is a thing where it's like sometimes it can sound cool, sometimes it cannot. You know, hopefully you have it sounding cool more times than not. As an example, let's just maybe take that same section of music again, and there is a bit of an abbreviation here that needs to be said. I can only improvise so much to this backing track because it starts the different cycles of changes through the solo. Obviously, I can't control that. So let's just jump back and take another swing at the solo with a different approach. Let's jump back. Here we go. So maybe starting off the same way there. And maybe instead of this kind of tonality, like that was kind of a neat cinematic thing that I got into on the last pass. Let's take a more like Dwayne Allman, Dickie Betts kind of thing to it, right? It's like more Allman Brothers this time, right? One. So obviously I couldn't stay in the Allman Brothers thing because I had to acknowledge the... And if we were just jamming over a backing track, I don't have just a vamp that's over the key of G. Let's take another take at this and come at it with maybe a little bit more country influence. Change to a country tone. Like a rude country tone, right? Right? So you can see like the same G tonality can mean a lot of different things. Let's do another one. It's like a more less intense. Less intense kind of thing, right? Here we go. 1, 2. Just as you know, as just kind of blowing through this thing, kind of getting loose and not really trying to overthink the playing. I haven't played any guitar today, and I just kind of want to see where improvisation is lying, right? See how many ideas I'm repeating, see how many ideas I'm not repeating, see how many different tonal textures I can work with. So let's get real deep down into the improvisational tactics. You know, really first things first, you've got to understand what chords you're playing over, and for today's sake, we're just using a G with a dominant 7. There's no D chord in that progression, really. It's just now, when it goes to the cycle halfway through, that's like it's the signal to the band that I was gonna move to a more intense level. So that is the B flat, C over A, or sorry, F over A, C, G. That's B flat, F over A, so like F first inversion, C, G. Okay. Now, to look at this kind of progression, I'm just going to tighten it up and get specific and say all your rock licks in the pentatonic area will work. Okay, that's all good. Now, so the next thing we want to do is visualize that across the fretboard instead of just one position. Let's look at this from here. So next, like I'm gonna look at root minor third. I'm gonna look at root minor third. Root minor third. Root minor third. Again. And now we're going to have the 5 introduced in. I see that Kneeshurts sang that. So it sounds like D minor if I do that. So we're going to go ahead and add the G major, or the 3, which is B, to give it a G major sound. There's F, G, B flat again, major, 5. So now I'm going to start looking at the relationship of the three, which is the B major. Let's look at this against a G. So if I have a B flat against this G in the context of this track, let's just listen to it. The G sounds good and the D sounds good, right? The F is going to sound good. B flat will sound okay, but it needs to have this. It needs to be kind of bluesy. So now we're going to look at that B flat on the low string. See how that sounds good? I'm just playing with this relationship of B flat to B. It's okay. I'm going to rewind the track so we just have some more real estate to deal with here. Okay? So now we start hearing how cool the phrasing can start happening with just looking at root, 7, B flat, major third, minor third, major third. Okay, that's a more exotic flavor. We're not going to mess with that right now. Next thing we're going to do is have the flat 5. Okay, or sorry, let's go ahead. We've got the third involved. Now we've got to introduce a new character, which is 5. We got root. So if you're playing the major scale, you have 1, 2, flat 3 and 3, right? Now you got 4, 5, but we're gonna add a flat 5. So we have, and then 7, 1. So now in this grouping of notes, we have 1, 2, flat 3, 3, 4, flat 5, 5, 7, 1. And that gets real Steve Morse-esque in a hurry, right? Like those kind of things. Okay, so now you got to find that in all the different areas of the neck. So that's not something I'm going to sit here and like spoon feed you, but if you can see where the root is, the minor third is always going to be right there. So the major third's here. 1, 2, minor third, 3. Right? And then you're going to have the... So this gives a really basic fundamental core for me to paint with, right? So that's what I'm looking at. What's a fundamental home base? We're not going to use that E flat yet. So we're getting there. We're not going to use it yet. So now let's take a solo and just use those notes. All right, okay. So yeah, everything sounds kind of fun over there. Okay. Just noodling around, discovering all the different patterns and phrases that I can have, you know. Again down here. And you can add in the major third if you want. Right? This is just building some framework to help you improve your improvisations where you're not just improvising in one area going like you want to be outside of that, right? You want to say more than that, right? And if you're going to say something bluesy, these sweeps, not sweeps like this, but these sweeping like kind of slides. That's the kind of thing that I'm looking for when I'm thinking about that Dwayne kind of thing. No. Maybe something simple. You know? That's a much more interesting way. That's a much more interesting way to play instead of going, right? Instead of going, right? There's Kevin Sharp. We're going to have a drinking game for every time Kevin Sharp says John Cordy. I think he's made a habit or maybe a hobby of coming in here and just saying John Cordy. John's a great guy. He's a good friend of mine. So when you're framing things out, that's all just the pentatonic shape. That's all that. Right? That's this thing, but it's all laid out in a different way. Right? So let's just go, let's hear that against the track. Okay? Here we go. Let's just hear what these sound like in that style. Instead of going, right, which is really square. More interesting sounding, right? See how they all sound in these little like 3-note vocal line kind of phrases. That's just all just looking at that. Now, when we start adding in these chromatic notes that I think get really interesting, they become these passing tone notes. Let's hear those. Okay. Now let's just hear. All we're trying to do is just listen. We're just trying to get our ear used to these chromatic passing tones across it. Now let's play that somewhere else on the neck. So that's just all of them together. We'll rewind the track so it doesn't go to the next section. That's here. That's here. That's here. Now we're going to listen for the minor third, major third. And we're not. Look, guys, we're not building phrases yet. So you're not trying to get the cart in front of the horse. We're just looking at what notes sound cool against it, okay? So for this phrasing, so now let's try to build a couple of phrases that are simple. And you kind of sing them in your head while they're happening. Just kind of thinking of them, you know. Right? Now I'm going to start incorporating some better rhythm so it doesn't sound so meandery. Like we don't want it to sound like you're looking for something, right? Right? And so it immediately starts sounding a little bit more musical. We'll start adding some rhythm in. Let's go to another area of the neck and do the same kind of thing. Okay. Now, let's start having a little bit more fun and push the exotic flavor even farther out, okay? So we're in the key of G, and what we could do here, being playful, is kind of allude to some other harmony, because you just have this on the bottom. Forever. So we can have this, we got this, we got this, we got this. We can even have this. We have this. We can have this. Kind of gives it a more cinematic flair. Okay. Let's get to the G part. Yeah. I'll play it slow. Because nobody's playing anything. You can have a pretty fun, you know, the only thing that I hear is that keyboard, you know, that kind of thing. That kind of breaks it. But if the keyboard's not there, you just have a root on the bottom. So a way to kind of explore this in your improvisation, and what I'm trying to do is at the first level, just get your ear used to hearing things that are new, right? Yeah, flatting the 6, exactly right. That's exactly what that is. Gives you that sound, which is super cool. That's the basis for my song, Shoot the Sun Down, right? It's like the major scale with a flat 6. It's really cool. Okay, you see what I'm doing is like I'm now. Let's just try to play a line that involves that, right? It's gonna get crowded with the keyboard because I don't really, you know, the keyboard acknowledges the third there, kind of. So you have to kind of get imaginative that the keyboard's not there, but like. Again, the keyboard's crowding that harmony. Typically, there's no keyboard when we play this live, right? Yeah, so it's that kind of sound. The next thing up, and the last thing, which is the most important to me, is ornamentation. The last thing you want to do is blow over a solo with every note delivered it the same way, like this. You don't want this kind of thing. That ain't it. You know what I mean? What you're looking for is ornaments, bends, slides, things that can make something sound impressive, like not impressive, but cool. Right, so on and so forth. And let me just show you some of my favorite ornaments, right? Some of my favorite ornaments to do are take a note, and instead of bending it very normal, your most common bends on the guitar are like your 4 to 5. And your root to, or 7th to the root. This one up here is minor 3rd to 4. That's a really good one to come into. But there's some really cool bends that happen around the 5th, where you're bending up to the 6th and the 7th. So I'm looking at the 3rd, or the minor 3rd to the 3rd. That'd be a cool one, right? Where you'd have like the 3rd to the 4th. Slide, drop down, slide back. Let me move my microphone so you can see what's going on. That's like 4, drop down, move back, major 3rd. Let's hear that against the track. Moving into some chromatic and some diminished ideas. So that lick again. And then I was moving it up and doing the 4 to the 5. Now I can have this 5 to the 6, all the way up to the 7. So, ornament number 1 is mastering bends all over the place. They can have that. All right, here's some more. Yeah. Okay, now the next thing, let's look at some double stops and some like chord cluster type of things. I like this stuff a lot. Again, nothing here is meant to be, today's not meant to be like, hey, Andy performs. This is just me giving you some things to look at and think about. Is all I'm trying to do is maybe just show you something to think about where you can find something that interests you sonically, right? So let's look at some double stops with chord clusters. I'm going to be taking and moving that all over the place and in different inversions. That's just like taking a pentatonic lick and putting the bottom pentatonic below it. Now I'm going to play those together. So that's a great way to start looking at double stops. Okay, from that we need to start breaking things up and giving some other flavors happening. Okay, that's taking... We're going to connect those with a chromatic. Now let's hear those over the backing track. We're going to hear it first and then try to put it into a musical context. There they all are. They almost start writing music for you. So, again, we're going to expand that. It's not about any one thing. Just looking around and being okay with searching for stuff, right? So let's expand it because we've been doing double stops on strings that are parallel to each other. Let's skip a string in the middle like that. So we'll have... Let's just listen to those against the track. So all I'm doing is just giving my ear a chance to listen to this stuff against the track, hear what it sounds like against G. You get all that natural tension. Okay, so you're kind of giving everything on the palette of the guitar. You're basically trying to take a root note. If we were to condense everything down into one sentence, you're taking one root note, okay, and then you're just, what does everything sound like against it? Okay, and then we're looking across at different ornaments that we can add. Slides, you know. Bends. different sequences. Double stops. Using those chromatics in your double stops. When you start widening out the intervals, it starts getting really kind of EJ-esque. I'm just seeing a lot of different areas to explore. Once so to put this into a real-time practice regimen, I would take any moment of today's hang and exploration. Any moment of it would be something that you could spend an hour on, like the major with the minor 6. You could work on that for a long time, just working on bends. That could be a whole lesson, right? Or a whole practice session. Right? The chromatic notes could be a lesson just by itself, right? Working on figuring out what key the song is in. This is Flooded Mind, and the song starts, the main head is in E. The main head is in E. This is the main head. E, C, G, D, A, E, C, G, D, A. This part goes to F sharp. B. That's a bit of a tricky one because there's a lot of... That's our last chord of it. And then the solo section goes to G. So the whole solo section, this vamp, this is all over G. So the song has several key centers to me, right? Again, this is off of Junktown. the album Junktown, and the song is Flooded Mine. So, yeah, that B section's got a cool thing. There's a really cool turnaround right there that I like a lot. Okay, time for a little housekeeping. Cool little lesson today on just exploring improvisation and fretboard awareness and all the trinkets that surround good improvisation and not sounding sterile, right? Like you don't want to sound predictable, you don't want to sound sterile. Okay, the housekeeping starts with andywoodmusic.com. That will be all of the tour dates, the Axe patches if you want to buy them and you're not a Patreon member. That will be the new album's home base that comes out very soon. And then if you want to support the channel here, which I hope you do, I hope you enjoy what I'm providing. And if you enjoy the free content on Instagram and all of the different outlets that I make free content for, think about going over to patreon.com/AndyWoodMusic and throw in $5 in the tip jar. You know, we got a $25 tier that allows you to take place in a weekly live masterclass that I host from Zoom. And you can join that masterclass and ask questions and have your guitar there and jam and everything. That's at patreon.com/AndyWoodMusic. And then the last thing, but certainly not least, is if you want to learn from myself and, 7 of the greatest guitar players on earth, think about coming to the Woodshed Guitar Experience right outside of Nashville, Tennessee. It's in Crossville. And it is September 5th weekend. We've got a few slots left. Steve Morse, Andy Timmons, Brent Mason, Ariel Post, and Jake Workman, Tom Quell, Dave Beebe. Like, crazy. It's crazy. That's woodshedguitarexperience.com. Thank you, Mike, for joining up on Patreon, being a part of the community over there. Thanks for giving it a shout out. We have a lot of guys here that can vouch for how good that community is. That Patreon community is really special. I upload there all the time. I am getting ready to upload a right now lesson on how I play right now as a fingerstyle thing. So, yeah. There you go. Those are the items in the housekeepings. Carson, great to see you. Great to hang out with you in Dallas. Jay is vouching for the community over there at Patreon. It's a good hang. It's a bunch of good folks, and we'll be doing the masterclass this week on Thursday because I have a session in Nashville tomorrow. But outside of that, you get it every week, and there's 4 of those for $25 a month. And then outside of that, it's thousands of uploaded videos. Like I said, there's a new feature on Patreon that I'm going to try to go back through and reverse engineer and cultivate that allows you to put things into lists now. So I'll be able to put all the Axe patches together, all the bluegrass stuff together. I'll be able to kind of cultivate some things, which is going to be great. Frank, I guess it's a form of speech. It's not a tip jar so much as you join up for $5 a month. Or you join up, whatever tier you feel like feels good to you. I have a few slots for Monster members, which is, those are my one-on-one private sessions. The master class is really the tier that I suggest everyone to jump into. That's the one I always recommend because of the, you just get so much. You get, 4 of those master classes and then all the freaking hundreds of lesson videos and whatnot. So thanks for hanging out today. I hope you can rewind this and steal some ideas and get something that sounds cool to you that you can implement into your playing. And of course, Patreon members, thank you as always. And Patreon members, let me know in the message inbox over there on Patreon what you'd like to see. I know this was one of the lessons that somebody wanted, so I made it a live stream. And thanks for hanging out with me today. I appreciate you guys so much. And yeah, we'll see you next week.